Hey YouTube, hello Internet, we meet again. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is February 19th, 2019, 2 days before my birthday, 2 days before my 38th birthday. So it'll be, I think, eight or 8.5 years. Since I knew that I was being targeted, since it became, overt. Um, I had some stuff that I want to go through today. I'm gonna pull up the chat in a second because I think I can't see if anybody's in the chat room. My computer is just my attackers have made it so I can't open the program when I don't do live streams and I want to screen share. I can't open that at all. All of my YouTube stuff has been like changed, like so my personal channel settings have been changed. And then when I open this, I can't see how many people are in the chat room. So I'm going to go to the chat room, but my attackers are heavily, messing with all that, messing with how I get videos out and things like that. I had some stuff that I want to go through. I'm gonna open the chat room first. I kind of want to pull the camera this way. Whatever. I kind of had some stuff that I wanted to go over today. I wanted to go over some stuff from Dr. Eric Carlstrom's website, gangstalkingmindcontrolcults.com. But I think I'm just gonna kind of just do a vlog, kind of an update about what's going on with me, and I really need to kind of get some stuff out about my family came into town this weekend to do stuff for my birthday, to go out to eat and whatever, hang out, and it's I have a great family. Let me, before I start, let me go ahead and open up the chat room. I just needed to do a vlog and just talk about this stuff, just talk about what's going on with all of us and what's going on personally with me. Like all my, I guess maybe general YouTube has, the settings have been changed, but man, my channel and the editing is all weird. I'm just gonna open it up. Okay. Hey, Native Neuropterus, how are you doing? And Lily Grace, Carrie Mary, how are you guys doing? Yeah, and I've been meaning to do more. I've been meaning to do more in the car with just my cell phone. Getting vehicular stalking and things like that. But when I do make videos on my phone, and I try and upload them to YouTube like straight from my phone, so I can upload the whole thing, my attackers can freeze those. So they'll freeze that on about 11% or 33%, and I can't get those videos to go through. I have to upload them on my phone, which means I have to cut them into 15-minute segments. And I really got sick of that when I did it a lot, I guess, a couple of months ago. That's all I was doing. I was doing videos on my phone and then cutting them into 15-minute segments, and it's really annoying. So I'm trying to get away to where I can just upload the whole thing. I may just get some kind of little device to upload it and then upload it to the computer and then YouTube. I don't know. I'll figure out something. I always figure out a way to get around with what my attackers are doing, and they mess with my computer, but it seems like they don't mess with it. My attackers aren't like master hackers, so they do pretty simple things that I can kind of get around. But yeah, I just wanted to talk today, just do a short live stream. I'm feeling horrible, like mentally and physically. Not as bad physically. I went shopping today and stuff like that, but mentally, like for the last 3 nights, I haven't been listening to Dave Case's CD. So the high pitch ring sound is really bad. The V2K is louder, and just it's hard to explain to somebody who's not going through this. I think you guys in the chat room you know, probably know, but the remote neural manipulation, you know, what they're doing to my brain is so, it's just so messed up, and it's just really messed up to where you know, I can't even remember, like I'll have a great thought about something I want to do, or you know, a great idea, and I'll immediately forget it in a couple of minutes. It's pretty scary. That kind of, I mean, it's almost like an Alzheimer's, but with specific things. And hey, Star Kid. Hey, okay, I said hey to everybody else. How are you guys doing? Yeah, Lily Grace. It's actually, you know, with V2K, it's actually microwave hearing. Now they might, you know, I think some of us have an implant or two in us. Some of us have body area networks, but with the V2K, it's like it's the bidirectional stream of energy, and it's microwaving. It's using these microwaves to hit the brain, and then as the brain tissue cools, it sends an audible signal to the inner ear. But that can also be done through like a chip. Like say I had an implant up in my jaw, what it sends a signal up to the brain through that nerve system, because they put the implants around clusters of nerves, and so then it goes to the brain, and then whatever signal is translated when it gets to the brain basically and goes to the inner ear. So I think most of the V2K, you know, I've heard some people say that it's, you know, they put implants directly in the ear, and that's the only way they can do V2K, but it mostly has to do with electromagnetic signals to to your brain, getting to your brain, and then like transferring an audible signal to the inner ear. But I mean, there's so many ways that they do this stuff to us, but um, yeah, see, even, you know, I haven't made a video in a while, guys, because I've just been feeling too sick. It's hard to gather my thoughts together, you know, and yeah, I want to, I have a lot of information I want to go over. That's kind of easier when I can just be like, okay, well, I'll get this information and just go through it. So I don't really have to organize my thoughts so well. But when I do like try and organize my thoughts, it's very difficult. Like I had thought of a bunch of things and I didn't write them down that were pretty important to us. Well, there's one thing that kind of helps me, and I think it might help you guys. Well, there's a lot of things that can help us get through this. What I do when I'm feeling like really bad now, which is like all the time, because this is like cumulative. This is cumulative and it's degenerative, you know, and I found ways to defend, but there's still percentages of, you know, microwaves hitting my brain and hitting my nervous system that I cannot, you know, that I can't 100% get rid of. So it is a cumulative. You get more tired and more tired. It's a slow burn, you know, a really slow burn. Sometimes it's a fast burn. What I do, this is just one thing that I do to make myself feel a little bit better sometimes. I try and remember, when it was the worst, like when my targeting and my targeting was felt the worst, the most painful, where like I, you know, would have like almost seizures and my arm would like curl up. And it was so much pain, and I couldn't do anything for a long time, for like a year of this. And I mean, it was bad before, but I try and remember those times when it was like the worst. And then I think, and then I'm like, okay, well, right now, physically, it's not that bad, and it makes me feel a little bit better. Um, yeah, Star Kid, it's spiritual as well. Witches are hard. I think this has a lot to do with spiritual warfare. I think the people who are doing this are spiritually sick. I think a lot of them, yeah, I think the spiritual warfare and the spiritual evil is throughout. But I think really at the hierarchy, at the top of the hierarchy, you got people who are really Luciferian. And then, so even if you got like a person, like let's say that my attackers, and I'm not sure on this, but let's say that they don't see themselves as Satanists and they're just Masons or whatever, and they think that they're helping their country. they're doing satanic rituals. They're doing satanic ritual abuse. And they may see it as something else, but they're still doing satanic ritual. So yeah, I mean, this all has to do, with spiritual warfare. They are using technology. The targeting that I'm talking about is being hit with neuro weapons and directed energy weapons, and then DHS fusion centers, and those people getting text messages, and they put this all together in a grid and do community policing on you while you're being hit. So that's the kind of targeting that I'm talking about. I know there are some guys that I really like. I'll mention one, and y'all should check out his videos. Simon, War on the Saints. He changed his YouTube channel to War on the Saints. I think that's it, War on the Saints. And I watch him all the time. I mean, he is getting targeted very hard. I wish. I don't understand, and maybe you guys can put some stuff in chat. And I really want to kind of talk to Simon. I want to talk to a lot of these people who are like, hey, you got to get away from the conspiracies, and know that this is just demonic. And that's not what God wants us to do. God wants us to know the truth. So, if it's technology hitting us, hitting our body, and we need to find ways to defend, that's what God wants us to do, So I don't understand why some people think that it's following God more to deny reality and say, hey, this is just demonic, and the technology, I don't care about that, because that's what keeps us safer, knowing what's going on, knowing the weapons used, knowing what's happening to us. So I see Simon, he's getting ripped apart by these weapons. I know he's getting hit hard. I can just see it in his eyes, and he's still, he's going through, and he gives a lot of great spiritual advice, but it rips my heart out, and I don't even want to talk about it. Like, unless I talk to him, I don't want to talk about it, because I don't want to talk about him. But it's not like I'm like, oh man, he's so dumb and blah. It's like he's a brother in Christ. He's my brother, and he's also a brother in being targeted. And I'm seeing him hurting so bad, and just in praying, he's praying about it, and he has great faith in God. But then you've got it's that story, guys. It's that story of the person on the roof in the flood. And they say, God, deliver me from this flood. And then a boat comes by with somebody, to bring them, to get them to safety. And they say, no, I'm waiting on God. And then, so the guy in the boat leaves, and then, the person's still on the roof in the flood, and a helicopter flies by and is going to pick them up. And they're like, no, I'm waiting on God. I'm waiting on God. And then I think there's another person comes by, like in one of those, I don't know, the story is can go differently, but one of those things that they use in the swamp with the big propellers and stuff like that goes by the guy and says, hey, I can get you to safety. And the guy's like, no, I'm waiting on God. And the person dies, and he goes up to heaven. And he's like, God, where were you on that one? I was waiting for a miracle. I was waiting on you. And he's like, I sent the boat, the helicopter, and the I forget what those things are called, the things with the big propellers on the back. So, that's what I see. It's like, we can't just sit here and pray and be like, okay, God, give me a miracle, and then do nothing. Because God, just as evil works through the world, right? We've got these Satanists, we've got these evil people, they're soulless. They're soulless to me. My attackers, and I'm sure y'all can feel me on this, they're insane. Like, they're still, after so many years of doing this to me, like, I'll turn on a movie on my computer, and they freeze the movie while they're hitting me in the head. And they're so crazy. And I forgot where I was going with that, but okay, so Satan works through this world in the physical, through this technology, through evil people, through them accumulating money. So why do we feel like, why do some Christians feel like, okay, we're all, Pepper, stop. Can y'all see Pepper? Come here, boo-boo. Can you see him? And she's so sweet. I forgot what I was saying, but it's like, evil and Satan work through the world. So I just don't see why some Christians are like, okay, this is completely spiritual, while the evil people who are satanic and bad, they're using weapons, they're using technology, they're lying and getting people, to gang stalk and using DHS fusion centers and things like that. Why do we think that we can just sit there and it's all going to spiritually just happen magically? We've got to work through the world too. What's the Bible verse is like, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. And I think I've said that a million times. But that, I don't know. I really, it rips my heart out because I see Simon hurting so bad. And he's like, and you just gotta, he's talking about like, don't, people are all off on the technology, and he has faith in God and he has trust in God. And I want to be like, well, there's stuff around, and I don't want to. I didn't want to do this, because I really want to talk to him one on one, and some of these people one on one. It's just not a requirement, and God doesn't call on us to dismiss reality, to say that everything is spiritually demonic, and we just need to wait on him. God, I think God wants us to have faith in him, but he wants us to be acting to help people. So Nobody, hello Kyle, glad to see another video of yours. Hey Nobody. Yeah, I haven't made a video in a while. I've been feeling just more, really tired, but my mind, I'm having trouble gathering my thoughts and really having trouble remembering things and organizing what I want to do in a video. So this one's kind of like, I have some the gang stalking mind control cults.com. I was going to read some of that maybe, if I totally just go brain dead and can't think of anything else to say. Hey Badger Report. Hey Badger Report, did you get those articles that I put on my last video? I'm going to try and do that more. I'm going to try and put the links that I use in the actual description, because I what I thought is that when I do a video, I'm sharing the screen and then you can get the links up at the top. But if you're watching it on your phone, it's very small. It's very, very small and hard to see. So I'm going to really make an effort to any articles that I go through, also put them in the description. But yeah, so Nobody says, I agree with that story, Kyle. I think that's how God operates too. He works through the world. Satan works through the world. God's going to work through the world. And that's my experience, and it really hurts me to see a brother in Christ and a fellow targeted individual just saying, hey, no, we need to ignore that, and it's all spiritual. And I'm not busting his balls or anything like that. I like Simon, and I like Jeremiah. I think they're good guys. I think they want to help people. And this stuff is it's very complicated. It's very complicated, and people think it's complicated. This targeting is complicated, but I don't think it's so complicated that we have to say that it's spiritual demons doing it. Because we've got our iPhones. We know there's Wi-Fi signals. We know that there's electromagnetic signals. We know 5G and the microwave tower. So it's not something that's completely just, oh, it's magic, And that's one thing in life that God's put into my heart, is just you demystify things. The more you demystify things and make them, because nothing's really magic. Everything can be explained by science. There are some things that science has not gotten to yet, but we can figure out those things. And we're like, for science has not figured out everything, but things can be explained by concrete ways. There are miracles too, but usually those happen with a bunch of variables that are working through the world. Israel Rosario says we need to organize and fight. I agree. I kind of wanted to talk about that you know, TI Day is August 29th, and then, I want it to maybe, I don't know, I don't have enough energy to organize it myself, but I will definitely help people. And one idea that we kind of passed up in the conference calls, like people talked about it on the conference calls and then decided that it wasn't a good idea because it might make us look crazy, was a hunger strike. And I was watching, there's these awesome documentaries on Netflix, and I was watching a documentary on Bobby Kennedy, and how he had, he met up with Cesar Chavez, who was really trying to get, workers' rights in the West, in California, and everything like that. And Cesar Chavez would go on hunger strikes, and he'd get a lot of publicity for it. It'd be in the news. And then Bobby Kennedy, who was like a senator and then running for president, went out and met him while he was doing the hunger strike. So I thought that the hunger strike thing, could get us some press, could get us, and it could get maybe somebody important to actually come out and like see what's going on. But people kind of shot it down on the conference calls. I don't know why. I think it was just, oh, well, this makes us look a little bit crazy. But I mean, I don't think so. I think it's a way to do peaceful, peaceful protests, a hunger strike. And I think it could get us, I don't know. That's one thing I was going to talk about too. There's so much stuff, and I'm so disorganized in my mind. So I'm like, dude, it's not a steady, but one after another thought. I saw a video by Dr. Horton. She's talking about the affidavits, and I'm gonna really get on my affidavit. Like, I'm gonna get on it. I've been putting it off, and she was right. She said, we feel like we're just in this hole. This has been going on, like, from when I knew I was tortured for eight and a half years. And, at first I was like, we're going to kick this thing's ass. We're going to do this. Let's do everything we can, make videos. Let's, set up activism. Let's get on the conference calls. I moderated a conference call for a long time. Let's call the president. Let's send letters to senators. After so many years of those things not really paying off how I wanted them to, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, I kind of feel I'm being conditioned like that Pavlovian dog to just be like, well, an affidavit, doing the affidavit, it's a daunting task because you're going through stuff every day. And how do you organize that out, 24-hour-a-day attacks, and put that in an affidavit? But, Dr. Horton's got a template. I think Targeted Justice does too. Dr. Horton's working with Targeted Justice. So I'm going to really push myself. And I think she was very right saying, I know we feel like we're in a deep hole and nothing's going to work. I sometimes feel that way. I feel like, wow, this is going to be a long fight. And, I think that we need public opinion on our side. I think we need the public way more awareness before a lot of other stuff is going to work. Hey, Charles, how you doing, man? You hanging in there? But I'm going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the template, and I'll probably, I don't know if you can do it electronically or whatever, but I'm going to go ahead and print it out so y'all can see it and work through it, and maybe you guys, the guys and girls watching my videos can do it with me. Then I'm kind of questioning, do I give it to Dr. Horton, or do I give it to Targeted Justice? I don't know. I guess we could give them to both. I think Dr. Horton is working with Targeted Justice, so I think because I'm in America, I might give my affidavit to Targeted Justice. I think maybe people in Europe should give it to Dr. Horton. I'm not sure about that yet, but I think we should all really, yeah, Charles, wow, directed energy bad. Yeah. That's why I haven't made it. Well, it's a long time for me. It's only been about a week since I made that video and you know, with getting vehicular stalking and going on my errand. But you know, even those, I feel like I'm babbling more. I felt like I had a lot of topics lined up in my head when I used to do vehicular stalking videos and driving around, and it helped to get me through things. But I feel just like I feel like I cannot do this subject justice. You know, it's so serious. You know, we're going through things like I'll tell y'all this weekend, like my birthday is not tomorrow, but the next day. And so my parents live in Florida. They came into town. Yeah, I get rants at Charles Hall. I do a video and I get tore down. Yeah, I get punished to shit, you know. If it, you know, they're really trying to stop that. Like if I go a couple of days without making a video, they'll turn it up. They'll turn up the attacks. They'll turn up the fog, like the brain fog. And I think they want to catch me at a point where I haven't done a video in a while, and then they're gonna try and hurt me and make me feel so bad that I'm just like, oh man, I can't even, you know, I can't even think. I can't even think to keep doing videos. But I'm gonna fight it. I mean, we're all gonna fight. You know, we fight this. I mean, it's fight or die. It's fight until this is gone, until this program's over, and we're getting justice. We're getting vindication. Vindication is a huge. It's justice. You know, it's the beginnings of justice. Vindication. People saying yes, this is going on, and wow, you know, you guys have gone through hell, and you've been pretty good about it. You know, vindication is the beginning of justice, and then of course it rolls on to actually, you know, getting into court and getting these guilty parties, you know, getting them either charged with something or, you know, and I agree with Dr. Horton. If the right people, if they find the people who are doing this, they should be executed after trial. It's treason to our country. It's treason to the human race. So I really agree. I don't know why she got so much flack for that. She got a lot of flack for, you know, just cussing and then saying, hey, Steve, man, how you doing? Steve says it's a gradual and persistent process. Yes. And that's the shittiest thing. I mean, you're right, Steve. But it's like what we're going through and you know, being microwaved and people playing around with, you know, neuronally with us. We need a quick solution. We need triage. We need a doctor. You know, we need these things quick. But how it's happening and how it's been happening for a while, and it's kind of exponentially, it's like the stock market, I guess. We're getting exponential increase in awareness and stuff, and then people stop kind of caring about it, and then we're, you know, so it's one step back, two steps forward, one step back, two steps forward, two steps back, one step forward, you know, like that. So we are going somewhere. We are getting there. But man, I'm like at a point where I'm just like, and I guess I want to be honest with you guys. I want to be hopeful, but I feel like, man, I don't know how much I have left. Like I don't, you know, I've made like 900 videos and I've gotten information out, and I'm gonna keep doing it. This is too important. But the way that this all plays out, and that, you know, society is conditioned to not really care about it, I'm like, man, I don't know how much I have left to, you know, we've said everything. You know, most of us have talked about our testimonies. We put information out about the weapons that are doing this. We've talked about James Giordano and all these people in the Pentagon, the Joint Chiefs staff, the DIA, the CIA, the DOD putting out these contracts, and it's this huge system. I mean, it should be easy. People should know. The stock market. That's funny. Badger Report says the stock market. That's true. That's funny. So, to nobody, happy B-Day, Kyle. Keep going. I know God appreciates your work. Yeah, I mean, this is all we can do. You know, we've got to fight this on a public awareness scale. I'm going to really work on, and I want you guys to do it with me. Let's go ahead and start filling out those affidavits. It seems really daunting to me, and I held off on it because I'm just like, That's not going to really do anything. We still need to get a lot more we need to get public opinion on our side and some vindication from the public, from doctors, from psychiatrists, you know. But I think we're just going to have to throw everything at it, you know. So Charles says satellite node amplitude modulation. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I guess like they have satellites, and then it's amplitude modulation, modulating the amplitude at which the electromagnetic frequency comes to us. Try to get. Okay, Raymond. Hey, brother, I have golden information to you. I've tried to get in contact with you. I know how to make your life easier. Did you send me an email, Raymond? I haven't been checking my email, so I'm sorry, guys, if I haven't gotten back into contact with you. I've just been really sick and barely able to just kind of get what I need to get things done. I've never, Charles Hall said the sun is the load. What, like, so, well, I'll talk to you about that, you know, offline. Yes, Star Kid, if you're a targeted individual and you have a YouTube channel, let me know about it, and I will, you know, either send me an email or just leave it in the comments. Say, hey, Kyle, check out my channel, because I want to subscribe to those. And like Charles, you know, I try and tell people, go to Charles's videos. Charles Hall, he has a lot of great information. We need to promote each other. You know, we need to not only promote each other, you know, like sometimes I'll talk about what Dr. Horton's doing or what Ella's doing, Targeted Justice, what they're doing. We need to promote each other and even put up, you know, because I think people are like, they're like, well, you don't want to put up other people's information because that's their information. But I think as target individuals, like, I don't care. You can take a whole video of mine. It's not copyrighted, and put it in other places. We need to be advertising and promoting and getting all of our information out there, because I guarantee you, any targeted individual that is making videos wants that information to go wherever it can go the furthest it can go, you know. So Steve says, we've talked about it. However, we need to go ballistic with our attitudes, change your frequency. Their ways. Yeah, I agree with that. We need to be very assertive. You know, we need to be assertive yet intelligent. You know, it's like how I feel. But you're right, Steve. I mean, we do need to go ballistic with our attitudes. My problem is that at the beginning I was fired up, my adrenaline was going, and now it's like my adrenal glands aren't working right. I feel so lethargic. It's hard to be like, yeah, let's go to, you know, my adrenaline's just not there. So I'm kind of just like trying to, you know, because my body's so beaten up, my mind's so beaten up. So I'm trying to just steady on, you know, get the important information out. And, you know, I still need to do the, I've been putting that off too, the direct cranial stimulation. I'm going to go through with that and get like a $300, you know, probably a $200 to $300 cranial stimulation, and experiment with that and see how that does. But yeah, yeah, Raymond says when it comes to protect yourself, yeah, we got to protect ourselves. You gave them, okay, I gave you the info. Raymond says I gave you the info about Dave Case's CD and the headset. Yes, get that. And Badger, you're saying, don't you live by Joe Lilly? He lives about an hour away from me. I'm not sure. He may live closer into town. And I called him. What happened is I called him a while back, maybe like a year and a half ago, or whenever he was getting married. Like I called him and we talked, but it was like right around when he was getting married. And then I started moderating calls and stuff like that, and, you know, trying to do videos. I need to get back in touch with him, but he's been going out like in New Orleans. you know, and really doing some good activism. I need to call him again. It's hard to stay in touch, and he's doing his thing. I need to try harder to get in touch with him, because he's a good guy. He's a really good guy, and he's tried to help a lot of targeted individuals, you know, one-on-one, even letting some people, you know, stay with him. And then he got burned for that, you know, because they, you know, because this stuff's crazy and everybody's so paranoid. And I think the person that I'm talking about, one of the situations, the person was like accusing him and his wife of being perps, and I know Joe Lilly is not a perp at all. So I think they've had some bad experiences with that, with trying to help people one-on-one. But yeah, I do. I need to get in touch with Joe. We just need to go out, especially at least for Target TI Day. But you know, right now, this is kind of what I can do. I can make videos and get awareness out and get information out. And I don't have a whole lot of energy to. I need to get it. I need to just get my millionth win. Right now, I'm doing pretty bad. So nobody says, good idea, Kyle. I think the way you and Nex think is good. The more TIs work together and more problems can be solved. Yeah, we have to. I know, man. I know, guys, that we have COINTELPRO in the community. We have COINTELPRO on the calls. We have COINTELPRO on the internet. We have these people. I honestly, somebody doing that, somebody who is not a targeted individual and they're saying they're a targeted individual and giving misinformation or causing, just chaos in the community or gathering information or whatever, I find that they're more evil than the people who are killing us. Because if these people were just microwaving us and there was an, you know, organized torture and experimentation with the stalking, yet we could trust everybody in our community, and we could trust every target individual that talked on the internet or on the calls, we would already have huge groups set up. But people are so hyper vigilant because there really is COINTELPRO in our groups. It's even made me pretty, I don't want to say paranoid, but it exists. COINTELPRO exists, and I'll read this thing. Let me just, I might not share my screen. I have a million windows up for GTA 5, for Grand Theft Auto 5, because that's what I've been doing to get off my mind, you know, get the targeting off my mind. And it makes me feel, because you're driving around in the game, you know, God forgive me that I'm playing GTA 5, but you drive around a lot in the game. It makes me feel like I'm moving, you know. But let me read this. It's a James G. Adorno quote from gangstalkingmindcontrolcults.com. And it kind of has to do with the COINTELPRO aspect in our groups. We have to understand that this does exist because, let me see. Let me read this to y'all and then I'll explain. Okay, so Neuroscience captures $175 billion annual market space, and it's probably a lot more at this point in time. The brain is the next battle space. We are targeting the brain. We need to recon the target area, i.e. the domestic population. He says, so James G. Adorno says the target area, which this says, i.e. the domestic population, in order to, number one, acquire viable targets, number two, avoid collateral damage. Like in any race, the morbidity and mortality going at this speed is real. So he's talking about like a car race, and when you're going this fast and everybody's racing for better weapons and more, you know, more advanced protocols and more, you know, more information on the nervous system and the brain to be able to control it better, the speed is breakneck, and there's a lot of morbidity and mortality. He's admitting that. James G. Adorno is admitting that in this quotation. I want to see where this is. Okay, so the next thing he says, this is still James G. Adorno talking. We are tracking neurological or brain signatures of key targeted individuals that are thought to represent whole groups. So he's saying this. This is something that I have not read that he said. If I understand how his or her brain works and do this on a broad enough scale, I can develop patterns and I can use this in ways that informs my intelligence. This force multiplies and synergizes my human intelligence, humint, my signals intelligence, sigint, and my communications intelligence, comment. Neurint, neurointelligence, coupled with assessment and access, gives me these capabilities. I can utilize neuropharmacologics and various forms of brain stimulation to extract information from key intelligence targets. And I need to get this book. Dr. James U. Adorno, professor of neuroscience, Georgetown University, DARPA, and a U.S. Army consultant. Confessions of a High-Level Perp. Dr. James G. Adorno, Battle Space. I'm not sure if this is the whole book name. Confessions of a High-Level Perp. It's in blue. I guess let me share my screen real quick. I got a bunch of windows up. Yeah, let me go ahead. I'll share my screen real quick so y'all can see this. I'll reread it. This is it's very important. Let's go to it. Oh man, I have so much stuff. I have like on YouTube. I have a ton of windows open to GTA 5 because you got to get all these secrets in the game and you know, pick up special items and you know, kind of play the stock market type thing. And there's some glitches that you can use to get more money and stuff like that. Okay, so let me just read it again. Let me read this again. It's number 4. Right here, and this is on www.gangstalkingmindcontrolcults.com. And the point, but the point I want to make after reading this, where he says we are tracking neurological or brain signatures of key target individuals that are thought to represent whole groups. They are also studying and experimenting on whole groups, like little groups that form. And they want to, you know, study people in groups to see how they work in groups also. So you think about it, it's like we're targeted individuals. We're getting targeted. Our brains, our nervous systems are getting targeted externally, targeted by psyops. And then we're the most immediate group that they can work on. Since they're working on us individually, that, you know, you go on the conference calls and they're going to be doing experiments and studying our groups in there and how we interact and how they can what's a weapons of mass disruption, how they can disrupt our groups, how they can disrupt our relationships. That thing fell off my aluminum. Try and cover this aluminum when I'm making a video because it looks horrendous. But we've got to know that's why. Let me get that to stay. Whatever. You know, but that's why, you know, so I think that some of the COINTELPRO on, you know, in internet forums and it's kind of, you know, I think what Brian too says, you know, is half correct. I don't think it's as much as he says it is, but there are definite COINTELPRO, you know, COINTELPRO group and COINTELPRO people in our groups because they're collecting data. Some of them are collecting data. Some of them are, you know, maybe trying to control narratives. Some are just trying to cause disruption. So many of those COINTELPRO people or perpetrators that are acting like targeted individuals, there are many different things that they're doing. I mean, like you know, and I've talked about this, and on a call, like this guy, he will mention stuff. He's been on the calls for years and years and years, and he will mention stuff I did the day before, even if I didn't make a video about it or anything. But he's there, and you know, he talks about a lot of good things and nutrition and stuff like that. So it seems like he is there to be on those calls, to act like a targeted individual, you know, and he never really talks about what kind of targeting he gets or anything like that. But I think his mission is to collect information, and to gaslight targeted individuals, because he's, people don't think he is a perp. So if he gaslights you and you're like, wow, this guy just like said something I did the day before, people are like, oh, well, no, that's just a coincidence. That happens all the time. And he can just sit there in that space, and that he is not a targeted individual. So a lot of these COINTELPRO have many, many different things that they're doing. So that's just the point I wanted to make on that. We are and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, guys. They're targeting us as individuals to learn about like general groups. But think about this: they also want to experiment and study groups as they work, as they talk, as they work through problems and things like that. See if they can maybe mess up this relationship here, mess up this relationship here, maybe cause chaos during a meeting, or whatever they're doing. And we are the closest group, since they're targeting us individually. Why would they go off? And they probably do target on a bigger scale. Closest thing. Hey, these are our individual targets, and our individual targets who we're doing this to, they're grouping up. So there obviously is like major COINTELPRO to study us in groups and to get more information about how we interact and things like that. And so that's a huge problem. I see I see COINTELPRO and fake TIs, and they're more dangerous than these murderers. Because if we were just being, experimented on and tortured and experimented on by these people, but we knew that, hey, when I see that person make that YouTube video, I know they're telling the truth. I know they're a target. Or when you go on a conference call and you are certain that when somebody's talking that they're a targeted individual, we could all trust each other and we could form big groups and big things. But people are hyper vigilant. They don't trust each other. And it's just like, it's like, okay, let's take targeted justice. And this may be a little bit different from what I'm talking about, but I don't know if they've found lawyers yet. And this is the thing is, I want it to, and this was naive of me, I want it to be a person to be like, to tell everybody what targeted justice is doing, right? And this is targeted justice being smart. They're smart people. So they don't want to, they obviously don't want to telegraph what they're working on. They don't want to telegraph, their plans and exactly what they're doing, because if they do that, then people can get that information, people they don't want to get that information, and they can screw it up. They can screw up what they're trying to do next. So we come across a big problem with COINTELPRO, because, it's hard to let everybody know what the plan is, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing that targeted justice was doing, but naively I was like, well, I'll tell everybody what targeted justice is doing, so we can have hope and all this. But we got to do it smarter. We've got to do these things a lot smarter. And I don't regret any of these videos where I've talked about what I'm doing and defenses that have helped me, because it's helped other people. But there are some things that in the very very near future that I'm going to work on, for my specific case, like, certain things that I may not want to broadcast out, because I don't want them to be screwed up. So then we're dealing with that too. And I hope I've made sense on that. And targeted justice is doing an awesome job. It's just hard to know what's going on, to know how far along they are. But that's purposeful, because they don't want everybody. When they've done something, when they've finished an objective, then they let people know. But until then, they don't want to broadcast and telegraph what they're doing. And so we've got to have a balance of we've got to all let each other know what's going on, but also have a balance of, if you're doing something really important, don't telegraph it, don't put it out there, because you got COINTELPRO all over the place. So let me read this again. I kind of got off the subject there, but my point is, I really hate those. I hate fake TIs. And there's only a couple that I'm really certain of, but I know there are a lot in the community. I just think without them, if we knew that didn't exist, you know, we would have a lot easier of a time, and we would have built bigger groups by now to handle this. There wouldn't be so many problems when you have big activism, big events. You know, there wouldn't be people to like screw it up and stuff like that, who come in as fake TIs and cause disruption, or, you know, just want to do what they want to do. So it's I mean, it's an uphill battle, but one that we're rolling that rock up the hill. And, you know, what I'm waiting for is we're rolling the rock up the hill, and I can see the tip of the hill, to where when we get that rock there, then it's going to roll down by itself all the way. That's the miracle. That's the miracle that I'm looking for. Okay, so let me read this again, guys. So this is James D. Adorno. Neuroscience captures $175 billion annual market space. The brain is the next battle space. We are targeting the brain. We need to recon the target area, i.e. the domestic population, in order to, 1, acquire viable targets, and 2, avoid collateral damage. Like in any race, the morbidity and mortality going at this speed is real. So he's saying, going this fast, and all these different countries and agencies involved in advancing this technology and targeting people, you know, they're using shortcuts. They're all using shortcuts. Like experimenting on innocent citizens non-consensually is a huge immoral shortcut. It's a huge immoral shortcut, and it actually taints the technology. It taints anything that's going to come from it. Any kind of advancements that come from it, it taints it. The human race has got to learn to do these things the right way and morally. I thought that as we moved into the future and more civilization, I thought that stuff like this could never occur, because we would realize that the ends are the means. That's a very important thing in life that I think no one from the other side understands. They think the ends justify the means, whatever you do to get there. But if your ends, you think your ends are good, but your means are just so evil, then your ends are going to be evil. It's gonna infect the ending product of what you're doing. You know, we are tracking. Okay, so this is back to James Adorno. We are tracking neurological or brain signatures of key targeted individuals that are thought to represent whole groups. If I understand how his or her brain works and do this on a broad enough scale, I can develop patterns, and I can use this in ways that informs my intelligence. This force multiplies and synergizes my human intelligence, my signals intelligence, and my communications intelligence. Neurant coupled with assessment and access. So they access the brain and they assess the brain. Gives me these capabilities. I can utilize neuropharmacologics and various forms of brain stimulation. That's what a lot of us, that the directed energy weapons, the neuro weapons, that's what he's talking about there, to extract information from key intelligence targets. So that's Dr. James G. Joyner, professor of neuroscience, Georgetown University's DARPA, and he's actually an advisor to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The joint staff, so the Pentagon. And I wanted to show this because I'm not sure if this is the name of the book, Confessions of a High-Level Perp, Dr. James G. Adorno, Battle Space, Organized Stalking Applications of Neuroscience and Neuroweapons, 2017 YouTube lecture, my transcription and notes and PDF. Oh, okay. So I guess that, Dr. Karlstrom took that 2017 YouTube lecture and did some notes. So let's see if we can go to the PDF here. So this is going to be a good one, because, you know, I've gone over these. This is brain science from bench to battlefield, and I've gone over that like 3 or 4 times. But it looks like Dr. Karlstrom has put some of the quotes from it. So this is a good source, guys, right here. Some think that the last sanctified space is that of consciousness, and you are using this stuff to invade that. You're right. There is an ethical argument there. Is this more or less harmful than other means of information extraction? So that's Dr. Karlstrom. Oh no, quote from the following lecture by James Giordano. Some think that the last sanctified space is that of consciousness, and you are using this stuff to invade that. You're right. There is an ethical argument there. Is this more or less harmful than any other means of information strategy? Yes. Yeah. So this is Dr. Karlstrom's comment here. Giordano compares neuroscience techniques to other forms enhanced interrogation, i.e. torture methods outlined in the CIA's Cubark torture manual. In effect, he is arguing that torture of civilians is permissible and that neurotech may uphold a higher moral standard than other forms of torture. No, it's a lot. It does not uphold a higher moral standard. It is way, way more evil to invade somebody's mind. Like and I'm not gonna read all this, guys. I didn't really want to go into a bunch of information today. I kind of just wanted to talk and do a vlog. Do a live stream vlog and kind of just let y'all know and getting, kind of hang out with you guys. So I don't want to go through too much. I may go through some of that in some later videos. I do want to go through Dr. Karlstrom's website. What was I saying? I don't remember, but yeah, it's way less moral to invade somebody's mind, because like now I've been conditioned where it's like over years and years, knowing these people are on a remote platform, and a lot of it may be automated, but there are people like watching my inner voice. They're watching readouts of my inner voice. They're watching readouts of visuals from my brain. I mean, like I'm in a cage where I don't even remember what it was like to not be watched. Like in things in I guess the simplified way is somebody watching what your mind's doing, watching what your mind's doing, and that's that's been I think in society that's been one of the things to be called completely insane. You think somebody's reading your mind. You think somebody's reading your mind. That's what psychiatrists and people who have not experienced this. You think somebody's reading your mind? Well, yeah, it kind of works that way, yeah, because they're getting readouts of it, because your brain works with electromagnetic frequencies, and they can read remote neural monitoring, and they can put back remote neural manipulation electromagnetic frequencies to affect the brain. I didn't want to get too much into that stuff, guys. I just wanted to kind of to do a vlog and see how you guys are doing. Yeah, Badger Report says, whoa, confessions of a high-level perp. Yeah, I mean, James Giordano, he's working on the European Brain Project. He's working on the European Brain Project. He's an advisor to the Joint Staff, the Pentagon. He's worked in all these projects in America. I've done a lot of videos of his presentations, and I have not called him yet. I put that stuff. What Dr. Horton said about that is very true of me, and I think a lot of us. And I've always been just act, just do this. Like when I first knew I was targeted, I called the FCC, I called the FBI, I called the Inspector General, and then I got put into the short-term behavioral center because I was trying to get help. I was talking to everybody. And then after more time went by and nobody listens and nobody really helps, and you can actually get in trouble for talking about this stuff, I've been like Pavlovian dog put into a hole where I'm like, well, this, calling him's not going to get anything done. We got to throw that off. We got to throw that off and keep on throwing our rocks, So Diana, hey Diana, Diana Pythia, I love Karlstrom's "Go Get 'Em" headline. Yeah. Ann, I've done the footwork. TJ and FFTI are both true blue. Go with your gut. TIs have a habit of not trusting their intuition. You have ran me out of chat before, hinting LN, I ran you out of chat? Hinting I was a perp? Somebody else did that to you? I don't run anybody off the chat. All right. I don't know that okay. Yeah, white boy says a psycho killer movie every day. Yeah, that I was actually thinking that today. Like I didn't think that same exact thought, but I was like, a bunch of psychos everywhere. It's like a bunch of psychos who are like gang stalking at the supermarket. This guy he was like, he looked like a Hell's Angel or something with his biker vest and everything, and he like walked in front of me with his cart, and I was just like, this is psycho, and these people don't know what they're doing. It's so dangerous. Joshua says, Joshua Andrews, glad you are okay and still speaking out. I just saw one of your 2015 videos for the first time before I saw that you were live. Cool, man. Yeah, Diana says, I feel similarly at this point, Kyle. Yeah. Laura, okay, LN, yep, it's Laura. So you're saying that I ran you out of my chat? Because that's not true. I haven't done that. Okay, well let's. I guess I'm just gonna move on because I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there. I lost my train of thought. My train of thought derailed. Yeah, and Diana Pythia says I'm agoraphobic now for some reason. I'm not agoraphobic. I can go out, but there's not as much incentive, and it's not a happy time. I don't go out, and sometimes I am agoraphobic. If I'm like getting hit really hard and I need food or something like that, I'm like, okay, well, I'll eat ramen noodles and I'll just, get something, I'll stay at home even though I don't have what I need, like with food and drinks and everything like that. So sometimes it does make me agoraphobic. But with I'm gonna get off of this video today and just listen to Dave Case's CD all day and all night while I play my video game. Try and get that bidirectional stream of energy, that biorelevant feedback loop. Try and just cut it off. And it was weird. So Carrie Mary says, Lily Gray says, I hate going out now. Yeah, it's hard to enjoy, like even just going to walk my dog or something like that, because you might have some gang stalker doing something weird around you, or driving anywhere. I know I'm going to get so much vehicular stalking. Okay, LN, I commented on the video. All good. Just saying you can't know by a comment. Okay. All right, man. Well, let me know, like, because I have moderators in here, and they're not, they're not iron fisted. They're very logical people, and they only get people out of the chat that are like really being bad, when they're like calling us crazy and stuff like that, or they're just causing a lot of chaos in the chat room. So I have some my moderators, and like I'll make some more y'all moderators, people who come to my live streams a lot. But they've been doing a really good job, and I don't think they unfairly and they've only done it a couple of times, but very, very level-headed. Even through all this, even through the microwaves hitting our head, I still think, and I see it out there with a lot of target individuals who are level-headed. And sometimes I'm like, sometimes I feel like, maybe I'm too level-headed here. I just, that's something that, I guess this is a bad example, but like if you're fighting with Kung Fu and stuff, and I don't use Kung Fu or fight that much, but they say, get your opponent angry, because then they lose all control, So if we do get angry, we have to really, make it a more assertive anger, and not I'm losing my mind and I'm like a bull in a china shop, and you really the things that you do are a lot less effective. But on the other hand, it's like getting very angry and like making a video showing people how angry you are. Uh, it does have an effect. We've got to let people know what this does to us. And we've got to let people know what this is doing to us. Yeah, that's why, like, with what happened, like, and I know it wasn't everybody, but people getting mad at Dr. Horton for cussing, and she wasn't saying like we needed to go out in the streets and do violence to people. She was saying there need to be military tribunals. The military needs to, we need to have trials, and then when the trials are over, the people who are killing kids and experimenting on kids and torturing women and children and men who haven't done anything, they need to be executed. I mean, they need to be executed. I think the reason, and she was saying this is a good reason, you start with the death penalty so you can maybe get life in prison. And I mean, I know we're not in the position right now to be like calling the shots and saying what's happening, but we got to get there. We've got to somehow, get there with this stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff, just not just directed energy weapons, not just neuro weapons, not just this kind of experimentation. There's so much tyranny. There's so much tyranny, and there's like poisons being put up, by chemtrails and a whole grid of 5G coming in and everything like that. And then you've got a lot of dangerous things. You got a lot of dangerous things that nobody's talking about, that the mainstream media is not talking about. And the mainstream media tells people who are not looking for the truth on social media or looking deep for the truth, they tell them what to be mad about. They say, oh man, the left is doing this and the right is doing this, and Trump's an idiot. The news media, Trump's an idiot, and the other side says all these people are too hard, and they tell you what you can be mad about and what they choose the argument, they choose the fights that they want. When we all need to be gathering up, not being tribal. We need to get tribalism out, and we need to say who are the good guys that want peace in the world and want to do things right, and who are the bad guys. Let's get all the good guys, no matter what race, creed, nationality. We need to get all the good guys and say, okay, it's time to take down the bad guys who do evil. I know that's maybe a little bit too simplified. Okay. Charles says, even if someone is guilty, it does not warrant this. That's the reason we have courts. Yeah. And Charles, it's exactly right. And even courts, even this justice system that we have, it screws up sometimes. It sends guilty people, to jail. It messes up. So when something is totally, something is completely non-transparent, there's no checks and balances, everybody they pick is going to be innocent, because it's like they can just make up stuff. Nobody's watching them. It's all for national security, and it's not above board. So they can just pick anybody, and that's the false flag culture. Nothing's done in society today by high up agencies that they don't cause themselves. They don't cause themselves and then say they're fixing it and cause another problem. Hegelian dialectic. So nobody says, good comparison, Kyle. I recommend Sun Tzu, Art of War, Chapter 1, points 17 through 24. The perps do all those tactics in general. To counter those tactics, the Sermon on the Mount by Jesus is useful. Yeah, I need to read, I guess, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Yeah, I hear about that a lot, and it's all about like, it's what these people do. Don't even let your enemy know that they're in a war, right? So the public, the general public, doesn't even know that we're in this huge war, and they're taking out family members. Like it's crazy. My dad, like, we were driving to the restaurant yesterday, and I've never gotten so much vehicular stalking than when my dad was driving, than when my dad drives me somewhere. Like the light changes, one light vehicles, people doing weird stuff. And I'm so worried because I think that they have a whole protocol, and people in where my parents live in Florida, just doing this to him all the time, hitting him with directed energy weapons and neuro weapons. He'll never admit it because he says he's getting old, and he had that brain injury, so everything's blamed on that. And then he's never gonna, admit that anything like vehicular stalking is going on. To him, I mean, he may think that there's, I'm kind of, my parents, I'm back and forth on that. I think they know something's going on, but I think they think that I'm being way overly paranoid about it, that I'm making it bigger than it is, and I'm not. I'm not, and you guys are not either. Yeah, Laura, it's Laura, right? TIs are like family we get to pick. Yeah. Well, it's like family we don't get to pick, I love you guys, man. I do see us as a family. It's just the problem is that, there are people that are not target individuals, and there's COINTELPRO in our groups, and it's hard to get a group together without getting any of that in it. I think as we move further along, that'll get better. But that can be a dangerous thing, I can't really think of anything else, guys. I hung out with my parents. I think Saturday we went for my birthday lunch, and I got a steak from Outback Steakhouse. It was awesome. It was so good. And as long as I sit there with my family and I don't mention this, and I kind of just make jokes and pretend that it's not going on, everything's good. And I feel good being with them because they've lived with me my whole life, and it helps me to remember parts of me that I feel like I've lost, from being so traumatized. But before I go hang out with my family, like on Friday, I'm like, man, I don't want to go hang out with them. Not because I don't love them and enjoy being with them, but because like I'm in this whole different reality that they have no idea. War every day. I have to put on Dave Case's CD to block out, block out the frequencies, the high pitched sound. But then I start hanging out with them and it's fun, but then it's like, okay, man, I wish I was married and my grandma is at an age where she feels like everything's her last time. She said that after my birthday. She was like, this will be the last time we celebrate your birthday. And it's like, it would be nice, to be married and have grandchildren for her to have seen me succeed, to have kids, because she doesn't know about any of this. Like if my grandma could know about this and like all the videos that I make and us all trying to do activism and everything, she'd be very proud. And I think maybe instinctually she knows something like that, but it would be nice to have vindication and, her actually being proud of something she understands. But the world has changed so much, and people are just like, no, they don't know about it. They don't know about this change. So we're not vindicated. And I like being vindicated. I'll be real honest. I know, like, as a Christian, we're supposed to be humble. And yeah, I get that. But when you do something like pretty big and you help people, you're doing something good, you're fighting evil, you like people to be like, wow, it's awesome that you're doing that, Just like when I wrote grants for St. Jude, I would tell people that, and I was like, it's a good thing. Like, it's a good thing, right? People are like, oh, that's so great that you're doing that. So great, But it's like fighting this, you can't even tell them, or if you do tell them, they're like, oh, well, you're insane. Instead of like, wow, you're doing something good and you're helping people and you're fighting against something that's so important for, like if it's a person who's not being directly targeted, they'd be like, well, you're doing something so important that's helping my family, but we don't get that. We don't get that. We're like, we get, at the worst of it, we get people saying, oh, well, you're selfish, mentally ill people, and you just need to get over it, Yeah, Star Kids, I just want to say it's not just Christians going through this, definitely, Star Kid. That's why a lot of times, I'm a Christian. I'm not the best Christian. I try and be a good human being. I have faith in Jesus Christ objectively, there is a God. I know that, and I try and be the best Christian as I can. I try and do what God puts in my heart. But you know, I know this is controversial to Christians because they say, you know, if you don't tell people who are not Christians exactly do this or you go to hell, it's like really bad. But I think faith is the important thing. And if I just tell people about faith and how strong that can make you, and how that is objective, you connect to something good in the universe, that I call God. You get in the door, and then you can decide. You can decide what path you want to travel. You know, you can learn about Jesus Christ and things like that. So that's what I want to do, because that's why I talk a little bit. I talk a little bit more general because I understand it's not all Christians that come and watch my videos or target individuals' videos, but in general faith in general. And there's good in this world. And there's stuff that science has not figured out about what we're really connected to, what our destiny is, like how our, just the energy that we're connected to. Because science has said, right, okay, so Star Kid, like science right now is saying, everybody is just frequencies. Everybody's just frequencies and energy, right? Everybody's just frequencies and energy. That's what everybody is. But we know that science never figures everything out. There's always more for science to learn. So then we know that there's something more to that. We could be connected to something way larger, that science has not figured out exactly how, by in quantum, like between atoms. So we got to keep going, and there are things to have faith in. And like even non-Christians can have faith in good things and have things that move them along. I would encourage everybody. There is an objective God, and I don't know what that is, because he's so much above everybody. It's so above everything. But there is something that we connect with on this earth, and things that happen, and variables that happen, and this powerful force in the universe, gives us strength. But I think I leave that, because I'm not a preacher. More with targeting. I just want to go through information, tell people how to defend, tell people what works for me. I'm really not, what's it called? Like I'm just not a preacher person. So I like to talk to people about, what I believe in what I'm doing. And I like to express my faith through action. I feel like a lot of Christians, they talk about the Bible and they preach to people, but I like to have good actions, and then people are like, oh, he's a Christian? Well, he's doing good stuff. And I'm sure a lot of Christians can find a lot of things wrong with how I think about my faith. But God puts it in my heart that it's all right. It's all right what I'm doing and how I think, and I'm doing a good job. We all want to get there, at least. I know that we're being tortured and traumatized and stuff, but we want to get to a place where that you're doing the right thing, and that you got nothing to feel bad about or anything like that, and you're trying your best, and that you can use that feeling and use it to connect with good people in society, and just good energy. So Native Neuropterus says, Kyle, can you make me a moderator on here again? There's perps attacking Badger. Somebody attacking you, Badger? Okay, yeah. I didn't see that. Let's see. Badger, I think somebody. Yeah, don't feed the trolls. The Badger report says don't feed the trolls. That's definitely true. Yeah, just don't listen to him, man. I think I want to make Diana comes to a lot of my. I'm making people moderators that come to a lot of my live streams. So if I see that you're regularly coming, I'll probably make you a moderator too. next time or the next time. Cool, nobody. Thank you. Thanks for blocking them. Okay, guys. I don't know how long it's been, but I didn't want to make this a long one. I just kind of wanted to show my face and, yeah, because I hadn't made a video in a long time, and just kind of do a live stream vlog about what's going on. I'm going to get some stuff prepared, some information that can help us out. Nice, nice. Thank you, Native Neuropterus. Put him in a timeout. But I just hope you guys are doing good. You know, email me. I'm going to try and get back to everybody that's been emailing me. And if you want to talk to me on the phone, I'd love to talk to you. I'm doing as much as I can. And sometimes it's like I have a hard time staying in touch with everything, you know. Yeah, okay, Ellen. Thanks, I'll do more live. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, because I cannot open the program on my computer that lets me do, like, a live stream. My camera turns on, but I can't open the program that I make videos offline with. So I might have to do this. And thanks for coming, Badger Report. I hope you just come to and let me know if you're doing some live streams or something. I'm not sure if you do live streams or, you know, I know you do videos. Everybody check out the Badger Report. He's a Christian TI, and he's very smart. Has some really good videos. He's going through this. You know, contact me through my email. Vulcan Wolverine. Here, I'll type it in the chat. Vulcan Wolverine gmail.com. And I'll try and get back to you. I'm going to try and go through some email. I haven't been in my email box in a while, in like 3 weeks. Okay, you're going live. Okay, so Badger Report, it is okay, 8 p.m. Central Time. It's 2:30 p.m. Central Time where I am right now. The Badger Report guys will be going live tonight on the space Badger space report at 8 p.m. Central. He's going live with an interview. All right, Badger, cool. I'll try and show up. Are you going to live stream it? Yeah, you're going live. Duh. Yeah. Yeah, Lan says I cannot make calls. TI glitches are, yeah, my attackers are like really working on my computer. They don't seem to mess with my phone. They just heat it up whenever I put it in my lap or I put it in my back pocket to try and give me ass cancer, I guess. Love to have some ass cancer. Yeah, nobody. Grand Theft Auto 5 is cool. I have been playing the new Resident Evil 2 remake for it. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the remake. I never played those though, and so I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into that whole set of games. So I'll have to go play them all. But I loved Red Dead Redemption 2, and I didn't play Grand Theft Auto 5 on purpose because I know how messed up it is, you know, morally, and I was just like, kind of, you know, I don't need to play that. But Red Dead Redemption 2 was so good that I was like, gotta play it. And I like the characters and stuff. One of the guys, the guy who plays Trevor, like the really crazy guy in GTA 5, the really like out there, he's pretty bad. He plays the second-hand man to that guy on The Walking Dead, what's his name? I should remember. I've watched it a million times. Negan. He plays the number 2 to Negan. He has like the bald head and the little and the mustache. He's like one of the first people they deal with in the Saviors group or whatever. It's weird because I didn't know that. Like, I'd never played the game, and I thought he was like a cool actor. And then I saw this, and I was like, man, that guy in the game reminds me of that guy. And so I looked it up on IMDb, and I was like, it is that guy. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's really neat when something like that kind of connects. So that was a retarded motion right there when something connects. But all right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna wrap it up. But I'll be doing some more live streams. I'm gonna start working out, get my energy level up. You know, I'm gonna really just be working on just getting them all, like, separating this you know, connection. We got to remember that they're trying to build up a radio receiver connection with our brain and our nervous system. So we've got to do stuff like Dave Case CD, listen to pleasing music, do cleansing baths, because then it's going to take out heavy metals, because they're connecting to heavy metals and, you know, nanoparticulates. I don't know how successful we can be with getting the nanoparticulates out of our body. A lot of us need to, and this is going to be maybe some of the stuff that I'm not going to telegraph that I'm doing, but I might, you know, I might be looking for some serious doctors who would, well, I don't want to talk about it, but like, I'm going to be looking for stuff. And when if I am successful or unsuccessful, then I'll let y'all know about it. But I'm going to try and be a little bit more, not just saying everything I'm going to do, because I see how, you know, targeted justice does that. A lot of organizations do that, and it kind of, until they get it done, you know, they don't want to broadcast it to the world, which I think is necessary. I think it's very necessary. GGSS, mind control is not science. Oh, you know, some people say it's science. I'd say that, yeah, I mean, it's evil. It's evil science. Evil science. I'd just say it's evil science, because you could use something like this for positive things and it would be a science. So it's something with frequencies that interacts with the human body, and if it was used for good, it would be good science. Since it's used for bad, it is evil science. But I think it is science. Some science is very good. Like, you know, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from, GGSS. I mean, because science really implies like you're figuring out things and you're doing something for the good of mankind, and you're figuring out this world and you're doing something good. I think, yeah, I think that's how I think of science, as something good. Well, I mean, you know, GGSS, neuroweapons and directed energy. There is a science to how they torture and attack us. We've got to know that there is a science to the way these protocols work, because then we can use science to stop them. We can use science to defend. So we use our science, our good science, to actually defend better, and figure this stuff out. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure what point you're trying to bring across. But that's okay. You know, I think I get you on that. Yeah, Diana Pythia, it's frequency modulation, it's physics. Yeah. And I mean, you got to know there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. There's physics, there's biology, neurology, you know, sociology, because they study groups of people. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with you, GGSS. If it's science, you shouldn't be the victim. You know, well, we're not victims here. We're survivors. We are never these people's victims, and they have already lost. So never think that they're going to win over you. These people who are doing this stuff, their lives are decrepit and depraved and horrible. And anything that we lose, we will still not have lost as much as these people. Yeah, Diana Pythia says it's mad science. Yeah, exactly. It's mad science. It's bad science. It's you know, when it's like a tool. You know, a tool is neutral. Science is neutral. Science is neutral. Tools are neutral. But you can take and this is just a simple example. You can take a wrench and you can build a bunch of stuff and fix a bunch of stuff, or you can take a wrench and bash somebody's head in. And you know, I guess that can't be twisted, me saying that. But that's what everything is. That's what tools and science and all these things of our world are. You can use them for good or use them for bad. The things you learn, you can use for good, or you can learn them for bad. All right, guys. We'll have to continue that later, guys. But Yeah, nobody says mind control is a moral science. Moral science with God is the correct way to evolve society. Yes, yes. I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's why things have gotten so dark and people have gone into eugenics. And, you know, and I do believe in evolution, but I believe that it's used wrong, where these people who are in the hierarchy say, well, these people are going to die anyway. They weren't strong, so we can go ahead and, you know, experiment on them and do whatever we want to them. And it's like eugenics. It's like eugenics. Yeah, GGSS, but it's wrong. Yeah, it's definitely wrong. Yes, but science can be like, you know, you could say that the Nazis who were doing experimentation in the concentration camps, they were using a type of science, but it was horribly evil and horribly wrong. And then what we got? We got a bunch of like, how, you know, I think a lot of psychiatry came out of that, which now we see that it's almost a pseudoscience. So they did all this stuff, science based on evil, made the outcome what they had figured out, it tainted it. So moral science through God, what nobody's saying, that's how you get advances that can help everybody in our society, that can help us to evolve and to move forward as we need to in this world, you know. Yeah, the Badge Report says only the full armor of God can protect against directed energy weapons. Well, I like to ground, you know, get my Faraday bunker, use Dave Case's CD, and put on the full armor of God. I think those combinations work. So the full armor of God, but that's the full armor of God for me, Badge Report, is doing, it is grounding. It is because God put those things in my path. I really want Christian TIs to understand that. About, like, I've been a Christian my whole life. You know, this happened to me. I prayed a lot about it. And then what happened is I started looking for things to defend, and God put them in my way. And that way he helped me. So it's that story of the person on the roof in the flood. You know, read that story. That's how God works. God works through our world. He works through all of us. You know, so yeah, and I agree with you. You put on the full armor of God uh, to protect you. Yeah, and send me an email, Badger. You know, I'll you know, if you want to collaborate on something, you know, I don't know how to do Google Hangouts too good with other people, and I'm pretty, like, my energy levels aren't good, so I you know, I did videos for so long, and I think at the beginning I should have done, you know, start doing it. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know what's in the future. We'll just keep on going. Okay, Badger. Well, I'll respond to you. And yeah, do that, guys. If you send me an email, let me know. Like, if I'm having a live stream and you sent me an email and I haven't responded, be like, hey, I sent you an email. You know, this is in the subject line or whatever, to remind me. Like, literally, I'm not just saying the memory thing. I'm not just like, oh, I can't remember anything, and it's really bad. It's really bad. Like, it's not even like I'll be like, oh, I forgot that. I almost forgot that. It's like wiped. Like, some things are just wiped from my mind. So, and Corey Sharpie asking me, he says, how long have you been targeted? How long I've known that I've been targeted, when it was like high pitch sound, V2K, all that stuff, 8.5 years. But then I look back to about the age of 12, and then when I turned like 20, it was like weirder stuff. And so from where I know that I was targeted, it's been 8.5 years. But then I feel like 10 years before that, there was a lot of stuff going on. And even then, about the age of 12, and maybe I don't think at my birth this happened. I think it was when I had Crohn's and I went to Ochsner and stuff like that. But I think that I've been, you know, remote neural monitored and GPS and messed with since I was about like 12. But it didn't start getting like, and it was bad from like my 21, when I was 21 to like 30. It was intermittent pain and pain in my vagus nerve and down my leg and my jaw and my back, and my stomach and my Crohn's disease mixed all in. And then, you know, in 2010, 2011, I knew that I was targeted. Yeah. Yeah, Carrie Mary says, my experience since 7. Yeah, since she was 7 years old. A lot of people, I think, are put into this when they're born. I do. Diana Pythia says, it's almost like a form of dementia. Sounds like what yeah, it does. Me and my grandma were joking about it. And my grandma was like saying how her memory is bad. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm getting Alzheimer's. And we like laugh, you know, because she's really old. She's 90. She's almost 90. You know, and she just like, I don't visit her enough. I go visit her when my parents come into town, but I you know, really want to go visit her more. Just the things that don't sound that serious, like, oh, I can't visit my grandmother enough. It's really serious because there's going to come a time in the near future. I hope she lives to be 100. I don't think she wants to live to be 100. She's in a lot of pain too. But seeing her as much as I can is important because when she's gone, she's gone. And you know, I'll have those times to remember everything by. So it's really, really, really important. And that's one of the things they've been screwing up. I feel like I can't think. You know, you know, just really tired and torn up. And yes, Chapuizanta says Charles Hall is very clever. Pay attention to his channel. Yeah, everybody, check out Charles Hall's channel. He's very, very smart about this. He's smart about the science of it and how it works. So check out Charles Hall. Charles Space Hall. Charles Space Hall. Corey Sharp says, what's the longest break you've ever had from them? I think maybe at the beginning when I was starting off on some of my first defenses, I think I had like 2 weeks of nothing one time, like 2 weeks where I was defending against the V2K and the external hits, and it was about 2 weeks. But then as it went further and further, there's been no breaks, not one break. Maybe like they'll let up on the external hits, so like I won't be getting hit like with an external hit in the neck or the groin or something like that, but then they're working on remote neural manipulation stuff, making me have to use the bathroom or putting pain in my back. So it's always something. There's always something that my attackers are doing to me. But like, you know, maybe the external hits aren't as bad, or sometimes maybe the visuals that they're trying to, you know, with remote neural manipulation put into my visual cortex aren't as bad sometimes, you know. Yeah, GGSS brings up the movie Being John Malkovich. Yeah, yeah. Everybody watch Being John Malkovich. It is like the remote neural. Well, yeah, I mean it's a metaphor, but it's a pretty good metaphor. So Corey says they still talk the whole break, but allowed to sleep. Yeah. Okay, Steve Webb. Mine went away the V2K for 5 months and it came back. Yeah, Steve. I've talked to some targeted individuals who their V2K was like for a couple of years and then it stopped. And you know, I know it happens, but I kind of like, because mine always goes on, and it's like they're automating it and doing this chatterbox where it's like a loop of stuff that they say. You know, I don't think they're going to stop mine, and I'm very jealous of those TIs where the V2K is stopped. It would be a lot better. I could at least quiet my mind a little bit. I would still have the synthetic telepathy, you know, inner voice stuff, visuals, but it would be like, it would be better. I could have a little bit more meditative time, a little bit more feeling of solitude. Because with the V2K, I mean, this whole video they've been talking, and it's like it's hard. They're muffled, so it's like I have to pay attention. The guy just said "fuck him," and then the woman said, "This is weird," and then the woman just said, "You're not going to get him out of here." It's just stuff like that all the time. I may do a video. If you guys want to, I can do a video sitting here for like 30 minutes and just say what my V2K is saying. So y'all can get it. You know, I'll really pay attention to it. Like, but I've learned how to I've learned how to really block it out. Like even if it's going on and it's audible in my inner ear, it's like I somehow ignore it. Like my body, it's like an adaptation of my brain and my, it's just an adaptation where I'm like focused on, if I'm focused on external things, it's like I can't eat. Sometimes it's blocked out, but it's still audible. So it's incredible how the body can do that, how the body can adapt to things that you didn't think you could ever adapt to, like hearing something audibly, but still tuning it out. It's I praise God for that. You know, that's a miracle. Yeah, Corey Sharp says, does your skin come off in the tub when you take a bath? Yeah, when I'll run my fingernails along my chest and it'll be black. It'll be like black gunk. So we have a biofilm on our skin. You know, we have a biofilm on our skin from stuff that is sprayed in the air, and also probably things maybe put into your environment. Diana says, I think it's neurological coping with distraction from me, or just disassociate from them. Yeah, disassociate from the attackers. Yeah, Diana. Yeah. The Badger report says, I've only had the V2K one time while I was sleeping. I feel like God let it happen so I would have more understanding for TIs who go through it, because it can tell you that it was really, really freaky. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, it's so freaky. It's so freaking freaky. And to me, because I've had it for like 8 years, yeah, probably about 8 years, 8.5 years targeted, but the V2K started after a long time of the high pitched noise, a couple months of the high pitched noise, and then the V2K started. But it's like, this has become like a regular, this has become not, it's like weird. It's not normal. It's freaky, but I've had to cope with it and be like, okay, well, it's going to be going today and I've got to go do stuff. You know, I can't be like, oh man, voices, they're doing voices to me all the time. I had to reach a point where I was like, okay, well, that's going to be going on, and I'm going to play video games and concentrate on other stuff. And you just condition yourself in positive ways to make it normal to where it helps you. Like but it's not normal. You know, it's not normal. It's very evil. So I'm not saying that, but make it so. I don't know, make it normal so that you can handle it, so that you can deal with it. I don't know if I said that right. So Diana says, I notice it more now that I live near a cell tower. The radiation in the skin scuffing off more when I use baking soda in the tub too. Yeah, get away from that cell tower. I have a cell tower like 200 yards this way, and then one about 200 or 100 yards this way. And I mean, I still get hit by those, you know, because they're using that in the network. It's like they have satellites, and then they have a whole grid with microwave towers, cell towers, and Gwyn towers. And so satellite to these towers, and then drones, maybe drones flying around to give signals to certain cell towers and microwave towers, then bounce to us. I do think that there's layers to that, to how it gets to us, and then there's over the horizon radar. But okay, guys, I love reading y'all in chat. Y'all are y'all are so smart, reading y'all's comments. But I'm getting kind of tired. My mom got me some champagne and orange juice for my birthday, and I love mimosas. Are like my favorite alcoholic drink. Just love them. So I think I'm gonna, the other, like Saturday, I drank just some champagne, and I had like maybe half a bottle or whatever. And there's a friend of mine, and he moderates calls, Ryan, and he has to drink a lot to get to sleep. But he's right that when I was drinking the champagne, it did feel like, because you remember chemical changes in the brain create electromagnetic changes, and they are honing in on a certain resonance that your brain is making. Yeah. Corey says, be careful of drinking. It's not a maintainable thing. You know, you can't drink every day with this. Some of my friends do, still love them, you know, and they're trying to get by, but it kind of makes it feel like the remote neural manipulation I'm having trouble with words right now, guys, but it does feel like it loosens it up a little bit. So every once in a while, you know, I do it. Hey, Corey, I went to UT. Corey says, where are you? I'm in Austin. Asking Badger where he is. I'm in Austin. I went to UT, Corey. Graduated from UT. I worked at Dell for 6 years. Yeah, Corey says Xanax seems to help a lot. I take Ativan. I take 1 milligram of Ativan a day. And it really helps because it buffers the nervous system. It buffers, like, it blunts your nervous system in your brain. So that what they're doing, and this is a big thing, their attacks on us are attacking the brain and the nervous system. So if you can buffer down, if you can kind of blunt your nervous system, it's going to help. Your body's not going to feel it the same way. Your body's not going to feel external hits the same way. It's not going to feel pain that they're trying to create through remote neural manipulation and things like that. I would Chapuisanta. Like, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not prescribing anything to anybody. That 1 little milligram of Ativan, if I'm not on Ativan, I get so much sleep deprivation, and I'm way more agitated, and you know, it hurts more. But just be careful with it. Try and make it maintainable, and talk to a doctor or whoever is going to give you that. I know that they don't understand what we're going through, but you know, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not prescribing. I'm just saying I take Ativan. It helps a lot for me. Diana's saying, I just saw Snoop Dogg when you said blunt your nervous system. Blunt your nervous system. I wish I had some of that. I take CBD oil, but I hope Louisiana and Texas are going to be the last people to legalize weed. So I'll have to go to Colorado or California or Canada. Maybe move to Canada. Got a friend up there. Got a really good friend up there named Ken. I gotta talk to him, but he calls me with an unidentified number, and then I can't call him back. I don't have his number. He's a fighter, man. He has a lot. He's got some good evidence, and I wanted to work on something to show his evidence. Maybe just have him on, and you know, he has like an X-ray. Maybe he said I could show it. He has an MRI of his nose, and he has a stemoceiver. Like, he has a stemoceiver up his nose. When he was a kid, they put one in him. So his attacks are just hard. They're like, it's like electrifying his body, like electrocuting his body. And so he's trying to work with doctors and you know, get it fixed. All right, guys, I'm getting tired. I'm gonna go ahead and end this live stream. You know, thank y'all for coming. I hope all of you are getting, you know, relative comfort. Don't give up, you know, and really, you know, if you're a Christian TI or if you're not, really pray. And if you're not a Christian, meditate on it, think about it, and maybe say, you know, for Christians, it'd be like, God, what do you want me to do? Jesus Christ, what do you want me to do? Really pray and say, what do I need to do? And try and kind of get on a path of fighting this in a way that your talents can be used the best, you know. All right, later, Badger. Thanks for coming, man. I'll try. I don't know if I'm gonna be up because I've been up all night, but I'll try and get. I'll come. I'll come to your thing. I'll try and get there. It's at 8 o'clock. I think Ella. I'll go to yours for a little while and then go to Ella's call or something. Okay. Yeah, Corey, you too. You have the best day that you can. Native Neuropterus, awesome, Kyle. Thanks for the live stream. Yeah, take care, Native Neuropterus. Take care. Thanks for coming. Yeah, Diana. Yeah, you too. You too. I hope that you feel better. Well, I mean, I hope we all feel better, you know, because going through this, you always feel like crud. All right, guys. I love y'all. And you know, I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll have some more information. But all right. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one.